My name is Mark Hutchinson. I am a director in GWEC Asia, and I've been in Asia for 28 years. And I'm very happy to be here at the Global Offshore Wind Summit, which we are co-hosting with the European Chamber of Commerce, Taiwan. GWEC is a trade association, and one of the key things that we do is work with industry stakeholders as well as governments to really enable the wind industry in the region. And that includes the OEMs, the developers, all across the supply chain, shipping companies, and even just the financing of it, working with banks, multilaterals, aid agencies, export credit agencies. And again, the whole purpose is bring everybody together, talk, and when we talk, there is greater understanding. And when there's greater understanding, each side will understand sort of the key issues that each of them are facing, and we can more easily devise solutions that are equitable. Taiwan has a net zero target by 2050, which is the same as quite a few countries globally. It will not be an easy journey. It will be a journey of discovery and change, but I think that the government understands that. And the whole idea behind setting fairly strong targets for offshore wind is part of the government's net zero transition targets and planning. But there's a holistic approach. I mean, it involves solar, it involves significant amounts of new storage, it involves grid upgrades. So a lot of changes are going to have to take place. And as the war in Ukraine has shown us, energy commodity prices can become extremely volatile, can go up in price, and then that has a very significant impact. And of course, that helps justify the government's decision to move towards net zero, because of course, nobody can stop the wind or the sun from shining. And it's not something that you can disrupt in Taiwan, as compared to, for example, the supply of LNG that comes here, which can be disrupted. And it's also, when you sign a contract for wind, it's the same. It's a very price predictable situation, whereas for oil, coal, and LNG can be extremely volatile. And so, for example, today, building a new offshore wind farm, the energy produced there is cheaper than just burning coal, the cost of burning the coal in an existing power plant. So you don't even have to pay for the coal power plant. Just the cost of the fuel itself is more expensive than offshore wind. To be very clear, it should impact the energy mix, because I think what the Ukrainian war has shown us is that it's relatively easy to have disruptions in global supply chains, global energy supply chains, and that's what you're seeing. So, what I would expect is that a lot of governments would then be willing to push even harder to phase out fossil fuels. So you've got net zero commitments, you've got ESG commitments, and now you've got energy security and extremely high price that is going to, I would think, incentivize governments to move even faster than they are today. Yes, where GWEC supports localization efforts, because I think any developer or any OEM that goes into a country must, for social, political, and economic reasons, engage with the communities, create jobs, and really build political support. And hence, any developer or any OEM in a new market, excuse me, will always work to build that support. Whether or not you have to have very strict specifications on the local content is a discussion that we can have. The stricter the specifications, the harder it is for the industry to achieve reductions in cost. So there's always a balance there. And we would like to see a more flexible program here, because we think that the OEMs and the developers can deliver at a lower price if they have flexible, more flexible supply chain requirements.